Hey, there, it's me, Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access. Link in the comment, thanks. The associate director came back with 3 little boxes, one each for Carrie and me, and one for Kim as well. Since you two did such a good job, we wanted to give you a present. We opened the boxes. Each contained beautiful silver earrings, with little pieces of turquoise dangling from them. We were both excited. They were the most grown-up earrings either of us owned. I was so happy. Of course, later I realized that I wouldn't be able to wear them after we got back from vacation. Well, maybe I'd keep them anyway, and sometimes when I was alone I could wear them. Then the lady asked Carrie to spell her name so they would get it right in the credits at the end of the video. And what about you, Francie? Do you want to be Francie or Frances Wilcox on the credit? I thought a minute. Somebody might make the connection between Francie and Frankie. Then I smiled. Just call me Francesca, thank you. That will be my stage name. Mom was there and buried her hands in her face. Kim spluttered and rolled her eyes. Carrie giggled. On the road. It took 2 days to drive from that town in New Mexico to the Dallas area. What a long drive. Eastern New Mexico and Texas just goes on forever. When I rode shotgun, I finished my Harry Potter book. Then I rode in back with Carrie, while Kim rode in front. We played Pioneer for the longest time. As we drove eastward through the treeless prairie, we played like we were the girls from the video, heading west. How many weeks would it have taken? We made up stories about the Old West. I would write them down, and Carrie would draw pictures. One of the neat things about this trip is that Carrie and I are becoming better friends. I guess that I always treated like a pesky kid sister, which she was. But now that I was being her older sister, we liked each other better. It used to be Carrie and Kim did things together all the time, and I sort of stayed to myself. Now it was Carrie and me playing together a lot, and Kim doesn't pay much attention to us. I don't know if that makes Kim feel sad or not. Or maybe since she's older, almost a teenager, it's okay that she's by herself more. Remember how when the girls came up with the idea of me wearing their clothes so we wouldn't have to go home? Carrie was filled with giggles at the idea of me wearing her yellow sundress. And I was so embarrassed with the idea that I could have crawled under the seat. Well, on the second day of our drive to Dallas, I wore the sundress, and it didn't bother me at all. Kim didn't say anything about it, and Carrie just said that I looked nice in it. I have a yellow ribbon in my hair, too. One thing made me feel really weird that day. We stopped at a rest stop because our soda pop had done its job. When we came out of the restroom, an older man just stared at us. His hair was thin on top, kind of gray and brown together, and thick and wavy on the sides, like he needed a haircut. He looked away when Mom glanced over at him, but as we passed, I looked back. He was staring again. It wasn't like he was trying to recognize us. He looked hungry at us girls. He made me feel afraid and creepy. He wasn't scruffy or dirty or ragged, but the look in his eyes was so scary. We got to the Dallas area in time to go swimming at the motel, and to make plans for the big day, the one all us kids had dreamed about for years, Paradise Park, the biggest theme park we had ever been to. Paradise Park. Even though we got to the parking lot before opening time, we still had to park a long ways from the gate. A shuttle came and picked us up. I was wearing my checkered tennies, blue shorts, and white top. Funny, I remembered wearing that outfit one day when I played with Randy back in Colorado. We had a great time, even though it was really hot. It was a long wait to ride the log ride, but it was worth it to get wet and cool. Kim and Mom went on the big roller coaster, and I took Carrie on a smaller one, because she was afraid of the big one. I didn't mind. I was a little afraid of it myself. We did a buddy system and took turns. Sometimes Kim and I did stuff together, while Mom and Carrie did their own thing. We always had times and places to meet, even if we had to get out line for a ride to do it. After we ate lunch together, I went with Mom while Kim took Carrie. I wanted to ride a big spinner, but Mom wanted to keep her lunch down, so we went to see a show. It was kind of nice with some good singers and dancers, but I would rather be out doing things. We left the show and went back to the lagoon to meet Kim and Carrie. I brought a plastic leash and collar that made me look like I had an invisible dog. Something was wrong. Kim came running up, crying, and Carrie wasn't with her. Mom. Carrie just disappeared. We were watching a juggler, and when I turned around, she wasn't there. I looked all over and called and told a security guard. Oh, Mom, what'll we do? I'm so sorry. I didn't want her to get lost. I could tell that Mom was scared, even though she tried to sound calm. She hugged Kim. You did all you could, honey. Don't blame yourself. She's too old just to wander off by herself, though. Tell you what. I will wait here until 2:30. You two go out and start looking. Send a security guard back to talk with me, if you see one. Look as much as you can, but be back here by 2:30. Okay? And stay together. We took out together. There was a security guard with a cell phone, and we told her where to find Mom. The guard said that all their staff was on the lookout. We kept looking, but no Carrie. Where could she have went? We checked bathrooms and looked at the crowd standing in line. We were near one of the exits, when I looked over about 50 feet and saw that man from the rest area. I recognized his hair. And he had a girl with him on his far side. But I could see it was Carrie. There she is. I shouted to Kim and began sprinting through the crowd on an intercept course. I didn't have any Harry Potter magic, just an old plastic dog leash. But if I could catch him, maybe I could do something. I heard Kim calling for me to wait, but there was no time. I could shout, but if I did it too soon, he might see me and run and get away. I heard people talking about rude kids as I ran past them. His back was mostly toward me as I got near. Carrie got a glimpse of me. I could see fear in her eyes. He started to turn his head toward me just as I started to swing the dog leash in his direction. It clipped him in the eye. Damn it, he shouted and raised both hands to his face. Carrie was free and ran away from him. He started to run to another turnstile. Stop him! I shouted. Then about 3 security guards appeared and grabbed him. Carrie hugged me and sobbed. I just stepped back and he grabbed me, Francie. He said that if I made any noise, he would hurt me and then he would come back and hurt you and Kim. I didn't know what to do. We just stood there and hugged. The security guards had us follow them to their office, and promised that Mom would meet us there. At the office, the police met us. They told us that the man tried to say that Carrie had been lost, and he was trying to help her find her mother. We told them about seeing the man at the rest area, and how he had stared. They asked if we could swear to that in court. It meant that what he tried to do was something he planned, not just an impulse thing. We were all very frightened, and very happy that Carrie was safe. You saved me, Francie, she kept saying. Sometimes I would think of all those kids whose pictures you see on milk cartons and I would shake and shiver. After the police took the man away, we sat in an office and shook a lot. I don't understand why he was trying to take Carrie, but I'm sure he had something mean and terrible in mind. Maybe we would have never seen her again. Some of the police talked with us some more, and they asked us to come down to their station so we could make some statements. How does "I'm really scared" sound as a statement? It's true. Everybody kept making a big thing over what I did to help Carrie. I only did what I had to do. I couldn't let him carry her off. If he hadn't let loose, I'm not sure what I would have done next. I could have tried to tackle him, but he was so much bigger than me that he probably would have just kicked me away. A man from the theme park came to talk with us. He had on a suit and tie, so he must have been important. He was very nice, and kept telling us how sorry he was. He asked if we were planning to come back tomorrow. We're pretty shook up, Mom said. We did have 2-day passes, but I think we need to do something quieter tomorrow. Would it be possible to get our money back for tomorrow? The man not only gave us money back for tomorrow's passes, but gave us today's money back as well, and a certificate we could use for a free 2 days, anytime we wanted. Mom said later that they were probably afraid we might sue them or something, but we all thought it was pretty nice anyway. My decision. That night, back at the motel, Mom asked me to go out front and sit in a lawn chair with her, while Kim and Carrie showered. Frank, she said. That was the first time she had called me Frank since the first night of our vacation. I am so proud of you. It is so scary to think of what that evil man might have done to Carrie. You were brave and resourceful. You were very brave. Because of what you did, I'm going to give you a choice that you're old enough to make. The girls won't have to know about it. You know that we're still tight on money, but the theme park man gave us a big refund. Tomorrow, if you choose, I will buy you enough boy clothes for the rest of the trip, get you a haircut, and you become Frank again, 5 or 6 days early. Wow, Mom. That would be great, I said. Or we can use the money to get the electronic game series that you've all wanted. Will you think I'm weird or a sissy if I choose the electronic stuff? I asked. Mom just smiled and said, No, I'll think you're my very brave, smart, resourceful hero. The next day, I told Mom my decision as I put on my green sundress and sandals. Carrie was wearing green too, so we cleaned off the old coral polish and did our nails with the green polish that my aunt had given me. No, we didn't need to go shopping for my pants and t-shirts. I could stay Francie for 4 or 5 more days, if it meant that we could get the game set. Later in the morning, we did go to the police station, and we all told our stories of what happened. They told us that the man had a record of molesting children, and they were sure that he would go away to prison for a long time. Mom asked if we would have to come back to testify at his trial. The officer said it was a possibility, but they hoped that they wouldn't even need a trial. We had lunch at a cool Mexican restaurant, then to a matinee movie. Later, we swam a lot at the hotel pool. Then the next morning we headed for North Padre Island. It took us almost all day to get there. Texas is a big state, I guess. On the long trip to Padre Island, we were all talking. Carrie was saying how nice it was to have me play with her more. Then Kim surprised me. She said, Have you noticed something? Francie hasn't been forgetful anymore on this trip. Mom glanced over and smiled. That's right. She hasn't. Why do you think that's so? Carrie wondered. Because she's scared that if she forgets something, she'll have to stay Francie longer? Mom smiled and said, I don't think so. She knows that this was just for the duration of our trip. Carrie said, That's too bad. I really like her as Francie. Mom said, Well, I really like that brave young person as Francie, too, and as Frank, also. Do you know why, Francie? No, I don't think so. Since I have to act like a girl, I guess I have to pay more attention, just to stay out of trouble, I guess. Mom nodded. That could be. But I've noticed something else. When you were being the only boy in the family, I think you felt left out a lot. So you daydreamed and imagined and didn't pay as much attention to me or your sisters, and then you forgot things. You were off in your own world. Now, you three are playing together and talking together more. So maybe you're not feeling as left out. I guess Mom might be right. So maybe, she said, we will all have to work harder at being a family, okay? Can Frank be Francie sometimes after we get back? Carrie asked. Only if Frank wants to, Mom said. Well, I dunno. Maybe. I mumbled. Kim said I blushed, and that I smiled a little. I guess it wouldn't hurt me to play with Carrie more, and even to put a dress on if it were part of our game. As long as none of the guys ever saw us, anyway. At the beach. We're staying at a timeshare place, a nice condo, on the sand dunes. We can see the Gulf of Mexico when we look out the windows. Mom got a good deal renting it from her dean, who owns it but is going overseas this summer. We had a great time at the beach yesterday. I got embarrassed, though, when Kim tried to introduce me to a boy so I could have another boyfriend. Oh, please. She was just tired of me being a hero, and wanted something to tease me about. At least that's what I think. She did tell Nick how I beat up the bad guy, though. So I guess she is still proud of me. A storm came in last night, and the wind was too strong and the water was too rough to go out this morning. So I've been sitting here at Mom's laptop, finishing this story, while my sisters watch cartoons. Tomorrow we'll start back home. Mom said that tomorrow night she would cut the curls out of my hair, and the next day I could wear my boy clothes from the first day of our trip. Then I could get the Caesar cut. But now it's time to change out of this jumper and into my one-piece girl's swimsuit with the ruffled skirt around it. The sun's out, and we all want to go out and play on the beach and in the water. We're a family. We like to do things together. Now I'm closing this file and heading out the door. Bye. The end. Please subscribe for the next part. And visit my Patreon page for early access.